Welcome to the Virginia Carolina Deer Tracts podcast. I'm Mike Davis.
And I'm Sean Mills.
And we're here to talk about everything real estate
and the great outdoors
in both Virginia
and North Carolina.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Virginia Carolina Deer Tracts podcast. I'm Mike Davis. My good buddy Sean Mills could not be with us tonight because he had a conflict in schedule, but that is the way it goes in real estate. Sometimes you gotta go when the call comes. But we are very pleased to have a special guest with us tonight, Austin Keesee. Hey, Austin, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir.
Austin is he's just a good old boy like us. He has got a YouTube channel that I encourage everybody to follow and check out. That's how I've gotten to know Austin a little bit, and one of his videos was posted on one of the Facebook pages, like Virginia Wall Hangers or Virginia Whitetails. I'm not sure which one I saw it on, but I believe it was the video for Tall Boy.
Yes, sir.
That was an exceptional video, by the way.
Really I appreciate that. Thank you.
So I reached out to Austin, and just because, I've kind of gotten interested in self-filming myself, so I'm a complete novice at it. So I thought I'd reach out and start asking a few questions, see if I could learn something. And Austin was more than willing to chit chat with me, and I appreciate it. And I said, man, why don't we get this guy on the podcast and let's talk about things a little bit. So, Austin, thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. Now, bring us up to speed. Tell us a little bit about who Austin Keesee is. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? How'd you get in hunting? All that kind of stuff.
Well, I've always lived around Martinsville, Virginia. And I've been hunting since I was 16 years old. I kind of got into it with some of my buddies from the neighborhood. We all got bows at the same time, started shooting together and started hunting together. And we actually started filming about the same time we started hunting. We were in a TV productions class in high school, and we started taking borrowing the school's cameras and taking them home on the weekends to film our deer hunts. So that's kind of how we got into filming our deer hunts and all that. So it was fun.
Well, that is pretty neat, and I must say, based on what I've seen so far on your channel, that TV production class really paid off, man. You do a great job. I really enjoy your videos and your storytelling and how you put it all together. So, tell us about what made you start the YouTube channel.
Well, basically, I just started the YouTube to it was pretty much just an easy way to save my videos and look back on them and share them to other people and, friends and family. And, yeah, that's how it kind of all got started. I didn't really post much stuff on YouTube back in the day. Here in the past year or so, I've started posting more videos, but, yeah, it's just a hobby of mine. I never really started YouTube to make money or anything like that. If I ever made a few dollars on YouTube, that would just be a bonus. But, I just do it for fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly glad that you do it. First of all, you're a fantastic hunter. Really, really like what you've got going on, and I really have enjoyed the content. I can tell everybody out there, just based on my own experience, what little experience I have with video and audio and that kind of stuff. There's just a ton of work that goes on behind the scenes, from an editing standpoint and putting all these things together. How long does it take you to put one of your videos together, Austin?
Probably longer than I like to admit. It just depends on what kind of video you want to put up. That last video I posted of my entire 23 season, it took quite a bit of time. I probably spent 2 or 3 hours a evening working on it for a couple weeks, and yeah, it was a long time, but I think it was all worth it. In the end, it turned out to be a pretty good video.
I couldn't agree more. just the and be, you got to be so creative on the front end. Like there's so many things I see in your video, and each individual clip, it's like, oh man, why haven't I ever thought to film something like that? And you
Right.
just don't, you get so caught up in the moment, being out in the woods or whatever. I just struggle thinking about that stuff, and it just helps me to appreciate what you do all that much more.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, one thing you could do, I mean, just as far as a tip is just, film as much as possible. You can never have too much footage. Um, especially when you're going back and trying to make a video throughout the season, having too much video is never a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I certainly see that now, and I will certainly take that tip, going into next year. Um, you know, Obviously you're running more than one camera. How many cameras are you typically running, and what are you using?
As far as in the tree, I've got my main camera, which is a Canon G50. Um, it's a 4K camera, kind of entry level, but it takes a great video. My secondary camera, my B-roll, is a GoPro 10. And I like the GoPro because it shoots such a wide angle, and also because I'm using the GoPro remote now, and I just keep that thing in my pocket. Um, and I can leave the camera off, not using battery, and just hit that button, and the camera turns on and starts recording on its own. So that saves a lot of time and a lot of movement up in the tree, getting that camera going.
Yeah, I really got to look into that because that's, you know, I had my GoPro mounted on my bow, so it was relatively easy to push the on and off button as I was picking up my bow. It's kind of all
Right,
one movement. But thinking about, mounting it in a different spot for a B-roll location, that extra move it, trying to reach up and cut it on, that would certainly draw some attention that you may not be looking for. So
right.
that's good to know. I'll certainly have to check that out. And any other quick tips you can think of, just things that you've learned along the way that, man, I wish I'd have known that 5 years ago.
Well, it's not really a tip, but just it's it's my opinion. I think you should worry about killing the deer first and worry about the video second. Um, I think, getting the buck is the main thing, getting the video second. I actually missed my target buck back in 21 by, and I think it was because I fooled with the camera too much. I got great video of him walking in, and I got great video of me missing him, but that doesn't do you much good when you don't have the buck to show for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit, I guess, easier for, I see the TV personalities having to make that decision sometimes and not take the shot if they don't have it in frame.
Right.
And I think sometimes we have a tendency to try to act like the TV people sometimes. And
Yeah,
at the end of the day, we just got to remember that we're out here doing this because it's our love and passion.
that's
And
right.
you're right. The deer comes first, no doubt. I understand where you're coming from there, no doubt.
Right.
Um, there's a lot of different directions we could go here, but I know we're kind of short on time. Um, you primarily bow hunt. I know. I think I've seen you do a little smoke pole action too. But for me personally, I'm more of a fan of the bow hunting. Is that where you lean towards also?
Absolutely. The 23 season I dedicated to just bow hunt only. I
Yeah.
never took a gun out of the gun safe,
Oh,
and
wow,
yeah,
man,
so
that's awesome.
it worked out for me. So I might stick with that.
Yeah, I would say looking at those videos, I'd say you had a tremendous year this year. So congratulations for that. That's amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Now in Martinsville, I know you're in kind of some hilly terrain out there. You hunting mostly private land, or you getting into the public land stuff?
I hunt mostly private. I started getting into public about 3 years ago, and I started hitting that pretty hard. So, yeah, public land is pretty new to me. And this past season, I was lucky enough to kill my first public land buck. which was a pretty respectable 10-pointer. So I
Yeah,
was
I'd say
really happy
so.
with that. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's something Sean and I have discussed for both turkey hunting and bow hunting. Is we around this area around the lake, we got several wildlife management areas that we would love to explore, and we just haven't. Our schedules just haven't aligned enough yet for us to do that.
Right.
Um, we would certainly like to do a little scouting beforehand. Do you scout those areas, especially on the public land, before you hunt them?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to do most of my scouting in March. That way, the sign from the previous year is still fresh. You can still see the scrapes, rubs, trails, and when you're scouting in March, you're shed hunting at the same time. So that's
True,
why I
very
like
true.
scouting in March so much.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, it is. We are getting to that season. I still have a few bucks hanging on. Not getting many pictures of big ones right now, but the little ones certainly still seem to be hanging on to their
Yeah,
antlers. But I'll be out there shed hunting soon, and you're right. That is a form of scouting, no doubt.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about busting up the woods and messing up. If you're planning on hunting that spot in 2 or 3 days, kind of thing. So I think it's
Right.
very smart to do it that way.
And you don't have to worry about ticks and mosquitoes and all that stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah, they're always fun, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I see, you're always sporting the Matthews stuff, so I guess you're a Matthews guy, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting a Matthews Traverse for the past few years. Um, I grew up right down the road from Southeastern Outdoor Supply, which is Matthews dealer, and that's just what I've always bought my bows from there, had them tuned there, and I've just had really good luck with Matthews over the years, so I've just kind of stuck with them.
Okay, I don't blame you. I have become a believer myself. Our local archery shop just picked up Matthews last year, and I got one of the Phase Fours, and man, I've just fallen absolutely in love with it, and had a phenomenal hunting year with it. And I'm kind of like you. I think I'm gonna be sticking with that for a while.
Right.
Hey, Matthews, if you're listening out there, feel free to sponsor either one of us. It'd be great. But even if you don't, we're going to still hunt your product. So,
That's right.
hey, it never hurts to ask, right?
That's right.
Well, gosh, there's so much I want to talk about, but I know we could go on talking all night. Is there anything that you want to talk about while I got you on here?
I
I
think you
know I'm
pretty
putting you
much
on the
covered it,
spot.
Mike.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I think you pretty much covered everything.
Well, cool. I would again like to just take a minute to thank you for joining us today. It has been a pleasure. What little bit we've chatted, getting to know you a little bit. As time goes on, I'd love to have you back on, and we can, maybe deep dive into some hot topics of the day, or just talk about whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but in the meantime, I encourage everyone to go to Austin's YouTube channel, and I will include a link in the description of the podcast, or on Facebook, on our YouTube page, all those things. We'll include a link so that you can go right to it. I'll probably may even link you right to the Tall Boy video, which is my personal favorite. Just the storytelling on that. Just to let me just plug you for a minute if I can, Austin.
Okay.
That video was the first one I watched, and obviously the deer is phenomenal. We love the deer. I love the hunting, but for me personally, you know, it was just really easy to connect with who you are in that video. The way you told the story was so relatable. I could just really almost picture myself in that environment, walking where you were walking, sitting in the stand where you were sitting.
Right.
The when you shot the deer, you know, just just
Well,
seeing the adrenaline work its way through you, and the emotion that came afterwards, and picking up the phone and calling the wife, and talking to your kid on the phone, all that stuff, man. It's stuff that I've done, and it's stuff that I know a lot of other hunters have done too. So I was just like, man, that dude is just like us, man. He's the kind of guy I
Yeah.
want to talk to, kind of guy I want to get to know, and you know, it's
Well,
kind of stuff
that
we want
hunt
to showcase on this podcast.
that was just really an unbelievable hunt because I've been after that deer for a long time. I mean, several years, trail cam pictures and all that. And I think in the back of my mind, after all those hours and all those sits, in the back of my mind, I didn't really think I was ever going to see that deer or kill him. And to have him step out and end up taking a shot and killing him and getting it all on video, I mean, it was unbelievable, honestly. And I'm just glad I can look back and watch that video and just uh it was it was a weight lifted off my shoulders, honestly, because I've tried to kill big deer on video for so long, and to be able to get that done, man, it was something else.
Well, again, congratulations to you, not only for Tall Boy, but for all of your successful hunts. Um, we beat our chest on here a little bit, always talking about what Virginia and North Carolina have to offer. Because we always see about the Midwest and some of those other great states across the country, and I don't feel like
Right.
Virginia and North Carolina get the love that it should. So that's why I want to spotlight folks like you on our show to bring attention to that, and just build that camaraderie amongst ourselves, because Virginia and North Carolina both just really have a lot to offer, especially in the outdoor world. So thanks again, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yes, sir, Mike. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, man. So everybody, be sure to check out Austin Keesee's YouTube page, and check out those awesome videos he's got on there. Give him a like, give him a follow, and thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Thanks again, Austin.
Thank you.